others. So we, as was mentioned, Jess Walter is our co-founder. We are really founded by a lot of writers, but we do a lot more than that now. So we're a nonprofit dedicated to igniting creativity for people of all economic backgrounds so that they can create the future they imagine for themselves, whether that's being a writer, being a journalist, being a musician, being a computer coder. We do dabble in the STEM technology realm, although really the heart of what we do is publishing. We are really famous for publishing youth voices and giving them a platform for that. That is what we do in many of our youth neighborhood programs and summer camps, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But we have three main branches of our programming. The first is our beautiful station that is our spaces donated to us in Kendall Yards. It's open to the public 5 days a week. We're sort of a 21st century library of a sort, but I wouldn't really call us a library because we do so much more than what libraries traditionally do in terms of working with youth. But we have computers, books, zines, Spokane's only zine library, in fact. We have robotics, we have art supplies, we have a section of our library that's dedicated just to local authors and even to youth authors. When we work with kids on publishing their own books, we put those in our library collection. We have a wide variety of building toys for kids to use their imagination. We used to do, for instance, fort parties where kids would write a story about the fort, a fort that they would design and the story behind it, and then we would build it together. So we have that station that's open 5 days a week, and then we have public programming that happens within there. Everything from writing programs to coding programs. And then we have our neighborhood youth programs, which I mentioned, where we're going out into schools. We're running summer camps specifically for youth, mainly youth in the West Central area, because that is a very under-resourced area historically for West Central. But we also have summer camps that we open up seats to the public as well. So one program that you might be interested in is our Drop In and Write program, which is a wonderful program run by a volunteer named Jenny, who is incredible. She's been doing the program with us for a long time. Usually you can see too which age group we serve: kids, teens, and adults. So you'll see sort of age ranges on there. So adults and teens, although it's mostly adults, are welcome at Drop In and Write. It's the first program listed here. And really it's just a supportive writing community. There's poets that attend, there's nonfiction writers, there's fiction writers, and it's a place for people to talk about their writing craft, to share what they're working on and get feedback. There's creative generative prompts every week that gives some focused writing time. That is a long running group, and it's got, I would say, a really good community and is always growing. So I strongly recommend that. By the way, all of our programs are free. We run on grants and donations and sponsorships. So like on the cover, you can see some of our sponsors of our station and youth programs. So we will never charge you for anything that you come to, because we believe that cost can be a barrier to opportunity, especially for youth, but also for adults sometimes. You can also see we've got a wide variety of programs, everything from Minecraft Club for youth to a mixtape camp for kids as well. We also, these aren't listed on here, but we have some really cool author events coming up. We lost a lot of our volunteers during the pandemic because people couldn't come out at first, right? When we all had to close and stay indoors. And then some people moved or they got jobs. And so we're rebuilding our volunteer pool post-pandemic. We have a lot of need for writers in some of our youth programs, if any of you are interested. For instance, this newspaper I handed out is written by 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders at Holmes and Audubon Elementary. That's one of our Level Up programs. And Sean Vestal helped with that program. He's a writer and an award-winning writer and a journalist at the Spokesman Review. And he can't help as much this year, so we're looking for other writing mentors to come work with students on becoming journalists for the year. and they each kind of work on a piece throughout each semester, and then we publish it in the newspaper. We also at Audubon Elementary are going to have a comic and graphic novel, kind of, we're calling it Myth Makers Club, where they'll be creating a zine with their comic superheroes and mythological characters and writing stories about them, and maybe doing a little animation as part of that too, although we haven't fully nailed down how we're going to do that. But all those programs all of our programs really run through volunteers. So if any of you are interested in volunteering, I have one more handout. We do volunteer orientations every month, but we are also work around your schedule. So if you are interested in helping run a drop-in program like Jenny, who runs Drop In and Write, for instance, you know, or you want to help in some of our youth publishing or writing programs, or just work with kids in general as a mentor, we would love, love, love to have you. And I'll pass out that information. But I would really encourage you, if you haven't, has anyone been to Spark Central? I should have asked this at the outset. Okay, a fair number. So if you walk in, you understand immediately why we're different, because there's like a giant zebra and there's books and robots everywhere. It's a very eclectic space, a place where creativity can bloom. So I'd encourage you, if you haven't stopped by, to come by and hang out. Our membership to check out books and DVDs and participate in our programs is totally free. In fact, you don't even have to be a member to come to many of our programs. You just show up, right? But we encourage you to become a member because then you can get on our email list and learn about what other cool programs are happening. But as far as the volunteer events that I mentioned, Sean Vessel is going to lead one September 10th. That's not on our calendar yet, but it will be soon. And then Jess Walter, for as part of a volunteer drive, anyone who signs up to be a volunteer with us is going to get to have a little social time with Jess Walter, and then listen to him be interviewed about his new book, Angel of Rome, and I'll be interviewing him and kind of asking him about Spark Central and you know, his life as a writer. So it's a kind of a way for us to use some of the people who love Spark and have been involved to encourage more volunteers to join our ranks and help out the kids in our neighborhood. So so I will hand this around. I've got more than enough of these, but you can also see some of the programs on here. If anyone's interested in volunteering, I can chat with you more. But yeah, everything from youth programs to adult programs. We need help with events. If you like going to, like, you know, author type events, we do those periodically as well. So, but yeah, check us out. Come to Drop In and Write. If you're interested in becoming more involved, again, come chat with us, because we have volunteers doing everything from like organizing our shelves and acting as librarians for our little collection to working with kids as mentors. So whatever your skills, if you're interested in being more involved, we can use you. So any questions on our programs or the kinds of things that we offer that I can answer? Drop In and Write is a really wonderful community. So if you're just looking for a place to share your writing and get more feedback, or maybe just connect with other people who are going through the writing process in a regular way, I would really strongly encourage you to check it out. Like I said, it's a growing group. In fact, we just got an additional room about this size with for like workshops and things, and so we're gonna, I think, move that program over there once it's ready, just because it keeps growing in size to the point where people walk in and they're like, whoa, is there an event going on? Because there's so many writers here. So yeah, any questions? Or it's a lot of information I just threw at you.
Oh, that's a great place. Yes, it is.
Oh, thank you. We are always adding new things to the calendar as well. So actually I will say this, many writers pre-pandemic knew us for doing some very author-focused or writing events. Periodically we do adult book projects, and we're actually going to be doing one this fall where it's you just sign up to register, like for a writing workshop. You participate, and then we publish all the writing of those who participate in the book that they created in the workshop. And it usually has a theme, like we've done a bird-themed one, we did an animal-themed one, periodic table of elements, sort of a scientific one. So I love book design. I'm actually a book designer, so I love doing those projects because I get to use my book design skills and help people like you get your work published and put out there in the community. And then we have usually a celebratory reading. So they're really cool. They're a really cool event. So that you should be seeing pop up on our calendar, I think in like a month or two, because it'll likely happen in October or November. So.
Did you say Jess was going to be there?
It's August 30th. I'm glad you asked. I don't think I mentioned the date. Yeah, August 30th, he will be doing a volunteer drive with us. And then Sean Vestal, we're calling them Creative Circle events because they're a volunteer drive, but we also are encouraging people to sign up to volunteer. And then Sean Vestal will be reading with, like, I think 7 other authors that we're still nailing down on September 10th. And that's a Saturday. So yeah, we have a really great space for events too, because we have sort of a mini stage and a projector, and our space is very flexible, so we can set up chairs and do those sorts of events too. Also, if I will just say this, if any of you or even this group is interested in having a gathering at Spark Central, we do a little of that. Our staff is very small and we don't have a lot of staff time to work like late into the evening, but we are hoping to have our workshop space set up by, I think, like October, be fully functional so that we can host groups like you. So if that's ever a possibility, you should reach out to me and we'll see what we can do. So.
How many people do you have in your writing groups?
It's just a drop-in, so whoever shows up, but I mean, I have been there and seen like 15 to 20 people. I think we had some people move away during the pandemic, but I think it's still fairly large, like 12 to 15 folks.
All ages at the same time?
In the drop-in and write, that's usually mostly adults. Every now and then we have a teen come that's really excited. We've had teen writing groups. Unfortunately, the thing with teens is if their friends aren't going, they don't want to go, and they're very busy because they're doing service for their college resumes, and they've got clubs and sports and tons of homework. So we have not had a whole lot of luck with teen programs. So our philosophy now is, hey, let's invite the teens to come to the adult programs, and if they show up, great. So every now and then we have a teen come to that group, but mostly it's adults who are excited to work on their writing. Any other questions I can answer? Yeah.
Is there a leader in that group?
Yeah, her name's Jenny Davis, and she is a writer herself and is so talented at like keeping the group together and curating. It's almost like a writing workshop that just runs with whoever shows up that week. So, yeah.
And what day and time was that again?
That one is Tuesdays at 5:30 to 7 at our space. So if you're familiar with Kendall Yards or have been down there, we are right next to Mom's Tattoo and very close across the street to the Inlander building. We're not right across, but we're close.
Well, do you bring your own writings or do you write when you get there?
Both. There's generative exercises, but you can also bring something that you want to share with the group. And I believe they do feedback. There's like a feedback time where people share their writing and get some feedback from the group. And then there's also usually a generative exercise later in the program. So you should walk away with something that you've written, but you also, you get a little chance to share your work. So sometimes there's so many people that's difficult, but right now I think it's been manageable. So, and I'll try to reach out to you when we have that book project on our calendar, because I feel like if you enjoy writing workshops, that's a great one. They tend to be poetry focused. Are there many poets in the room?
Sure.
Some people dabble in that. Okay, great. And then we also often leave flexibility for prose too. So if you're fiction or nonfiction, that you have a chance to participate. But they're very fun. Laura Reed, who was our poet laureate several years ago and is a published poet and teaches at Spokane Falls Community College and now at Eastern too. She often helps us run those, and she's a board member of ours, so she's fantastic. And so we're working on the theme for this year. It's not quite nailed down yet, but when it is, I will share that. Those are really fun projects for writers. So, all right, thank you. I know I threw a ton of information. So if more questions come up, you can email us, or you just visit our website, spark-central.org. But we'd love to see you come in and hopefully drop in and write. We'll see you there.
Great.
Thank you.